Hi there, it's Mental Health Awareness Week here in the UK, and I know that you guys in the US, I think I'm right in saying this, that you have the entire month of May set aside for mental health awareness. But here in the UK, we've got this week to think about what we're thinking about, and how we think really is so important. I mean, this is the kind of thing that I wish they had told me in school when I was younger, that what I think about is actually affecting my entire life. It's one of the things that I've learned over recent years, since I've had my own struggles with a bout of depression after my dad died, and some struggles that I went through. And I began to realize that a lot of what I was facing was obviously a reaction to what I saw as a crisis in my life. But it was my reaction to the crisis that was making the difference, and that was all happening in here. And so I went through a journey of really post that experience of paying more attention to how I think, and paying more attention to how I managed to find my way out of that dark time. And how I was able to do it was really engage in some strategies in my own mind and in my own head that that allowed me, or that made me, or disciplined myself, rather, should probably say. I disciplined myself to think better. I had terrible anxieties at that time, and I could feel all those anxieties in my stomach. You know what it's like when you feel those nerves in your stomach? Well, you see, when the Bible talks about our hearts, that's actually what the Bible is talking about. It's our stomachs, it's like our bowels, it's where the seat of our emotions are. So we tend to feel everything down here. As a singer, singers, we learn how to use our diaphragm and push the air up from our lungs up, out through, then over our vocal cords, and sing through our mouth. But the energy is coming from down here, from our stomachs. And that's really what life is. Life is coming from here. It's coming from the seat of our emotions. It's why the Bible in the book of Proverbs says, Proverbs 4 says that we're to guard our hearts, because out of it springs all the issues of life. Guard our hearts. It's kind of what I think modern science would call the subconscious. So we have our conscious thinking, and then we have our subconscious self, which is all about this heart area. And this is why thinking is so vital to us, or good thinking is so vital to us. Hopefully we're all thinking. But good thinking is so vital to our health, and to how successful and positive and peaceful our lives are. Because bad thinking will do us harm. And I've had a lot of bad thinking, and I still, if I'm like you, and I'm sure you're like everybody else on the planet, still have moments of bad thinking. Because from an early age, we're programmed to think badly. We don't realize it. But we're programmed to think worried thoughts and anxious thoughts. We're programmed and trained to panic, to worry about the future, to worry about how we're going to live, and what we're going to wear, and are we going to have enough money, and is someone going to love me, and am I going to be alone? We all worry about those things. Every single one of us worries about those things, and we have anxiety about them. But most of that anxiety is being built up because we keep thinking about these things. And so in this week, Mental Health Awareness Week, we want to think in healthy ways. To have an awareness of how we're thinking, an awareness of our own mental health. So I want to ask you a question. How are you thinking today? How have you been thinking recently? Have you paid attention to your thoughts? Have you challenged your own thoughts? Because you don't have to accept every thought that comes into your head. A lot of those thoughts are just coming randomly. They're being thrown out by the programming that's in our hearts, in our subconscious. And a lot of that programming we haven't been responsible for. A lot of it we have been responsible for. But a lot of it we haven't been responsible for. And so this is a great week for us to pay attention to how we're thinking. In the Bible, in the book of Philippians, the Apostle Paul writes to this particular church. And he says this in chapter 4, verse 8. He says, "Finally, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." You see, Paul, he knew that if we think about good things, it will do us good. If you think about bad things, it will do us bad. It's as simple as that. And so it's better in life to think about all the things that are truly good, that are pure, that are worthy of praise and worthy of thinking about. There's a lot of things that they're not worth thinking about, especially if they're going to cause us to feel anxious. That's why I don't really read newspapers. I don't really watch the news that often, because it seems that everything in the news is just there to make us feel anxious. And so we've got to control what goes in through our eyes and our ears for our own mental health's sake. You know that in recessions, one of the biggest things that influences a recession is confidence. All you need to do is just knock everybody's confidence. I mean, outside of the actual mechanics of finances, most of it's about confidence. Most of it's about communities and nations losing confidence and everybody panicking. When everybody starts to panic, then everything goes down the tubes very quickly. And so we don't want to be people who spend our lives panicking, spend our lives feeling anxious. And the great thing is that, for most of us, I know there are going to be those of us who will need some medical help. And if you're struggling with your mental health, then I advise you to go and talk to your doctor, to go and talk to someone, even a friend, because problem shared is a problem halved. And just to know that people are supporting you is a big help. And if you're really struggling, is go see your doctor, have a chat with them, and get some help. But really, for the most of us, we can control what we think about. And this is the great thing. When I found, when I was going through depression, there's a lot of circumstances that I couldn't control. And I felt as if I was adrift on this sea that was just taking me wherever it wanted to go. But then I realized I did have something I was in control of, and what I was in control of was what I was thinking about. And when I began to change what I was thinking about and began to coach myself, I would even talk to myself, to coach myself and how to think, to challenge some of the thoughts that were regularly coming up in my head that were causing me anxiety, then I began to get better. And the great thing is, you have that control even in your own life right now. You can control what you think about. Now, it may take a lot of effort. And I promise you, actually, it will take a lot of effort. Because a lot of our anxieties have built up over a long period of time. And when you think of thoughts as seeds, which are brought from our conscious into our subconscious. And if we keep repeating those thoughts over and over and over again, then you just keep reinforcing our subconscious, and those seeds get planted, and those seeds get tended, and those seeds produce then plants and fruit. And that's where these major times of anxiety begin to grow in our own lives. And that has a not only a mental effect on us, but also a physical effect on us, because our bodies will react to how we are. As the Bible also says, "The man thinks in his heart, so is he." So as we think in our hearts, not our heads, as we think in our hearts, that's how we're going to be. That's how we're going to be. So we've got to change how we think, and to realize that it may take time to reprogram or to, I think, sort of suppress perhaps, replace those bad plants that are in our subconscious and our hearts with good plants that come from good thoughts. But we're going to have to keep thinking those good thoughts. And that can be harder than it sounds. I'm not going to, you know, underestimate how difficult that can be. But anything that's worthwhile in life takes effort and takes discipline and it takes time. So I want to encourage you this week. Think about what you're thinking about. Think good thoughts. You know, I want to tell you, I've discovered in my life that God loves me. He fundamentally loves me, and He fundamentally loves every single one of us. And to know that God is on my side and looking for all good things for me, and that God has given us the Bible and all that teaching in the Bible that can help us if we pay attention, and that Jesus in His life and His death and His resurrection makes it possible for us to have a new life. Then I think these are the things that we can think about. These are the things that we can begin to center our minds around. But wherever you are, whether you believe in God or not, you know, I want to encourage you, think better. Think better, because when you think better, you will live better. Thinking better means living better. I promise you. So, in this week of mental health awareness, get aware of how you're thinking. Get aware of how you're thinking. And encourage someone that you know who's going through a tough time. And sometimes all you need to do that is just be there to listen. So have a good week. God bless. Bye.